call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.
What up? Welcome back once again to the Necro Zoo. I am Bones. And in this one, let's go ahead and add one more vehicle to my McFarlane DC Multiverse collection. Now today we will be taking a look at the gold label Batwing. Now this one is pretty controversial because of the price, the add-ons, the design, and the accessories, which are minimal. Now personally me, I pretty much picked one of these up because I want to support the line DC Multiverse from McFarlane. So it only makes sense that if I support the line, eventually we could get more vehicles and other big accessory, play sets maybe that go with the DC Multiverse. Now that is not to say that I didn't also have my apprehensions, but it was never that I was going to get one of those Spin Master Batwings. No way. Reason being simply because I collect 7-inch DC Multiverse from McFarlane. I do not collect Spin Master. I have minimal things from Spin Master, and that's just because I saw it in the store and I picked it up. But what would it look like to have a complete collection and then have your crown jewel be something that isn't from the line? It just didn't make sense to me. The money was no problem, so I went ahead and picked one of these up. Now, will they put it on sale later? Will they do another version? Who knows? All I know is that for sure I picked up one of these. Maybe this could help McFarlane in future vehicles decide the price a little bit better. In all honesty, I did think it was a little bit overpriced. Now, I'm not going to say like a lot of people, it was way overpriced. It wasn't. If they would have made it $175 or $199 with the figure, then I think they would have sold out right away. Now, everybody knows the tactics that toy companies use, like selling vehicles, and of course at the bottom it says figures sold separately, and the reason they do that is to get the price that they need for the production of the vehicle, and you'll still eventually have to buy the figure to go with the vehicle. Now this wasn't a crowd-funded thing from McFarlane. These were already made, but they were made in a lower number, so the price was going to be a little bit spicier. And if you don't know how toy economics work, that is why NECA figures are $40 each, because they make less of them, and although they do add a little bit more detail or maybe even accessories, you're still looking at a really high elevated price for one figure. Now when things are mass produced, like in the in the hundreds of thousands, that's when you could charge $20 a figure. But enough of the rabble. Let's go ahead and get into this. Now it came in a big box that was pretty heavy, more than usual. I did open up the layers. You got to get past that carton box. Then you get into the paper. Then you open it up. There's the box of the gold label Batwing inside. Couple of cool ways they packaged it. They did have those little black corner protectors that kind of have the shape of the Superman shield, and everything came wrapped in plastic. Now I won't bore you with opening each thing. I already have it all ready to go. But first off, it did come with its own data file card. So that's pretty hilarious. You get your Batwing data file card. On the front you have an image of the vehicle. And on the back you do have some information. Pretty sweet. We'll add this to the collection. Just like we did the card for the Bat Cycle that came with the Batfleck figure. Now another note before I go on. I did go to Target today. I wanted to go at lunch, but I ended up going later on. And when I went in there, I did actually find... Now, I didn't get any footage. I just... I was kind of so bummed at what I saw that I didn't get any footage, but this is what I found. I found 3 Batfleck figures on the pegs. No other Flash movie figures, but I did see 2 Bat Cycles, and then I did see the Spin Master Batwing, and one more thing, I can't remember what it was, but it was like a pack of Spin Master with Flash and Batman and some other stuff in there. But nothing of interest to me. I already have 2 other Batfleck figures coming in the mail, so I didn't need any of those, but I sure wish one of those would have been a Keaton Batman. Now, I have no fear. I am eventually going to get a Keaton Batman. It's not a big deal. I didn't have one for this review, but eventually I do know I will be getting the Batmobile and at least 3 Keaton figures, maybe even 4. But let's get back into what this one comes with. Now, he does come with these 2 little kind of points for the Batwing. They're pretty small. They do have a little bit of silver paint detail on them, and they do have an L or an R to represent what side they go on. We also get these 2 parts that go vertical on the Batwing, kind of like spoilers. A little bit of silver paint wash on these. One has a little bit more than the other, but other parts for the Batwing. Now then you get these 2 giant wings. Now, I saw the Spin Master today in the store, and it is smaller than these 2 wings put together. Now, you have to remember you are going to get the cockpit that goes in the middle, but just like this, Spin Master Batwing was smaller than this. Pretty big wings. Now, you also get the cockpit, which has some cool details that I did not know, and it has also some surprises that people might be using to customize this bad boy. And something I didn't know at all until getting it is it is clear from the bottom. So there's like a part from the cockpit that where you could see down. So that was pretty interesting. Now you do get one more thing. You get this either stand or mount for the wall. It is a bat symbol, old school, pretty cool, pretty traditional. Now this one does have a couple of things. I was just using a regular razor blade, but you pop these little, like say you pop this like long piece, that's where your screws go in to mount this. And then once you put your screws in, you can actually use this piece to cover it. That way you don't see that. And then you have these other little circles, and you pop these out as well. And you got these 2 rods. And of course these go in there. So you could mount the Batwing if you so choose. Now I will get some B-roll after I'm done and show you guys how it looks mounted on here, and also the way it looks all assembled, because in my little setup that I have, this was not going to fit in there. Even though it is basically like this wide, this would not fit in there assembled. So another thing it comes with, I mean, this isn't nothing big, but it comes with the anchors and the screws that go through here if you want to mount this. Now I have been thinking what I'm going to do with this. I'm pretty sure that behind me I am going to remove that under the Red Hood poster, and I'm going to mount the Batwing just like that, up and down, so you could check it out. They do show a picture on the box of how you could mount it and other little details that it has. Now it also comes with an instruction booklet. Not too complicated, but it does, display everything the way it should. Also, I'll give you some little tips as we go along. But you have the assembly of the Batwing, and then you have the assembly of the stand, or wall mount, whichever you prefer. Now let's get into it. First off, let's take a look at the cockpit. Pretty big cockpit. You got some cool detail that you do not see from far away. You got a little bit of silver wash. You got some added silver into these, they kind of look like shocks or like some kind of connectors. Pretty cool. Underneath you have these like fans, like rotary fans. I also think that is where you mount the Batwing onto the stand. They go like into these portholes. You actually do get a couple of cool things. I mean, it's not much, but it is serviceable. First of all, in the front, you pop open these little doors, and this one is kind of hard to get out, so you might want to have something to like pop it up. But also, once you click this open, it's really hard to push down at first. So what I did is I heated it up, and then I kind of flexed it to like break it in, like breaking up the rigor mortis, and eventually I got it to where it just moves on its own. And because the first time I did it, it felt like it was gonna snap this little plastic foot with a wheel that turns. And then back here you actually have two more. You can actually pop these open. Now these are a little bit easier to get out. And then once you have the wheels out like that, you can sit them on there, and the cool part is that it does roll. So that's one thing. You could actually collapse it all pretty simply. Now the other thing is it has these like kind of like afterburners or something like that. You pop these down and it exposes these like ports. Now what I notice is that there are like two on each side, and if you actually have these like fire effects that come with Batman Beyond, you could probably kind of modify these to like slip right in there. So now you got sort of like some, you know, jet firing action there. And it's with parts that come with DC Multiverse, so it's pretty sweet. And you could just take them out and those pop back closed. Taking a look at the cockpit. This is another tip I have for you guys. I know I've never talked about the superpowers vehicles or anything like that. I don't own any of them, but I did notice some things about like the action from the cockpits. You know how people like to push this down and it'll pop up? Now that's cool and all, but this little hinge here, I wouldn't trust it too much for longevity. So I just don't like to do that. I like to put my finger and like pop it up and kind of assist it, you know, not just let it snap all the way. Like I said, it is pretty sturdy, but that's just to, you know, give it longer life for your own self. I mean, personally, that's how I prefer to do it. And then when you close it, you push this down and then close it. Instead of the regular like snap, which I know that is very satisfying, but if you want to extend the life of this, those are like some little tips that, you know, will keep it functional for a long time. Now the cockpit is nice and clear. That looks awesome. Like I said before, you can't see through the bottom. And inside is actually really cool. You have different panels of controls from your right side and your left side, and they have a lot of wash and paint detail. But the money shot is actually right in the front, where you have like screens that are like a crazy kind of neon blue kind of radar color, and a lot of other little details in there. That is pretty nice. I know a lot of people are going to be putting lights in this. I might do it. It just depends. Another thing I did see is that there's this weird pit here, and it also continues into the bottom. So there's something in here. You can't open it, but there's a reason for that being there. I don't know if it's like to separate the top and the bottom half, but I'm sure a lot of people out there are going to be customizing this thing. Now let's go ahead and assemble it really quick. First off, you have these that go in the front. Now they do have letters. So this is an R, so this is on this side. You got your left. Now this is reminiscent of the old Batwing where it had that like pincher part in the front. Now everybody knows this is not representative of the '89 Batwing. This is the version from the Flash movie. Now, unless you've seen the Flash movie, there's probably a lot of details and things like that that we don't know yet. Now, I did see the second trailer that had a lot of more images of the Batwing, of the two different Batmen, of Zod, of Supergirl. It looked, pretty awesome. But I'm just saying that there's some details that we won't know until we actually see the film. And then you have these kind of spoilers. To say they go like this. It's in there. We got this one. Nice. Now, the wings are a big deal. You might think that they don't have a right and left, but you actually have to look inside these cutouts here, and you will actually see an L or an R. Now, this one says right, so I'm thinking it goes on the right side. Now, these also have an R on them. Pop this in. There it is. This is huge. Let me get this one. Like I said, if you look in here, it'll have an L, and then you have an L on these shot outs here. Put that in there. Oh, this thing is huge. Can't get. There we go. Okay, gotta be kind of careful. Okay, so I mean, this is maxing out my desk. But here it is, the Batwing completely assembled. It is a little bit heavy, kind of big. Not too much for me, but I am a beast. But this is it assembled. It is pretty big. Now, the other thing is getting a figure in here. Now, I do not have the Keaton, but I do have the Batfleck. Open this up. Now, I also noticed that inside here in the cockpit, on either side, there's like a square that goes deeper. So you got to make sure you get the feet inside those little pits to push the figure down in there a little bit more. But what I like to do is put the cape between his legs, get the feet ready, crunch them, open up the arms, and then slide them in there. Now he does, look at that, slides in pretty easily. And then, like I said, if you can get the feet to go into those little sockets, he gets really low in there. Now there is one thing I'm kind of scared of, and that is that the Keaton figure has really long ears, and it looks like this one is barely, clearing the cockpit. So when we get the Keaton one, it's going to be it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a hassle to get him in there with the ears and everything. So he does go in there pretty easily. And let's see if we could, close the cockpit pretty simply. So it does fit. I'm just kind of worried because the Keaton ears are longer and Batflecks are really short. He does have a little bit of clearance though, but he is in there. Now if you go back and open these things up again. Oh, you can. This one's really hard to get out, so I've got to get something to. You can, sit it down on there. It's too big. There you go. So I know this is a pretty cumbersome review, but there is the Batwing in all of its glory. As I said before, it is pretty heavy. Not too bad if you're a monster like me. But yeah, there he is. You got some kind of guns here in the front. But don't tell Warner Brothers. But there it is, guys. That is the Batwing. Everybody should be getting these pretty soon. I am going to mount mine back here, so you will see it in every review. And eventually I will be getting a couple of Keaton figures. But you guys, keep hunting out there. Keep collecting. Keep customizing. And I will see you on the next one.
They used to call me Crazy Joe, but now they can call me Batman.